Baboons are commonly found in most of southern Africa. Although these creatures may seem fierce or even cute for some at times, they are very intelligent and have an important role to play in our natural environment. But recently, Cape Town's baboons and people, well, they're not getting along. To tell us more about these fascinating creatures, joining us from our Sea Point studio this morning is Baboon Matters Trust Project Manager Tinka Shapiro and the founder, Jenny Trethewin. Very good morning to you, ladies. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Great. Jenny, can I start with you? Baboon Matters Trust. Why is there a need to have an organization solely dedicated to baboons?
Well, we started looking after baboons in 1990 because for many years in South Africa, baboons were considered vermin along with rats and, they were considered vermin. And the way of dealing with vermin was that you just simply kill them. So in 1990, we started looking for sustainable management options, and we found over the 25 years that we've been doing this work that really we do need to really concentrate on finding sustainable solutions so that baboons have a chance for the future.
Tinka, let's come over to you and talk to us about what is happening between people and baboons in Cape Town. Is it as simple as to say that we're competing for space and these kind of interactions will become more and more frequent?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what we're doing. We're infringing on each other's space, and the conflicts do take place predominantly around the urban edge, where the baboons venture from what we could say is their territory into our territory.
And in Cape Town,
I think.
And in Cape Town, where are the flashpoints now?
The flashpoints vary from any area around the urban edge. The Takai area is particularly difficult. We've got difficulties in Misty Cliffs and Scarborough, and the area along the Cape Point Nature Reserve down that sort of area, Red Hill. So there's various flashpoints along the peninsula.
Jenny, what's the most important thing you would say that we as society need to know about baboons?
I think the most important thing people need to consider is that baboons are a lot like us. We've got opposable thumbs. They share the same emotion range as we do. So they feel anger, they mourn when members of the troop die. And that's a really, really important thing for us to remember. But I think most important is the fact that they are highly intelligent and very adaptive. So you have to, if you are coming into contact with baboons, if they're coming to raid your waste on a daily basis, you really have to think of how you can outsmart the baboons. Hurting them doesn't solve the problem. So we have to remember that they're adaptable, that they're intelligent, and we've got to be more adaptable and more intelligent.
So you're saying at the moment we are battling to outsmart the baboons. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. It doesn't fail to amaze me that people who live in some of the areas that Tinka has mentioned still don't remember to control their waste effectively. I mean, if you know that the baboon is coming down to steal your waste, surely you would put a baboon-proof dustbin in place, but yet baboons know that they can go to various points on a regular basis because they're going to score some easy food. So, yeah, they're outsmarting us in quite a few occasions.
It doesn't surprise me, to be honest. If I can ask Tinka that question. Tinka, tell us about the work that you guys are doing with baboons, and also tell us about what you hope to achieve, particularly on the peninsula.
I'll start with what we do. Our work is predominantly threefold, along three tiers. We work in the advocacy and lobbying towards non-lethal, sustainable management of the baboons on the peninsula. We work in training and education, that is in the Cape Town area as well as outside of the area. And I mean by education, I mean making people aware of what to do in interaction situations, but also training of baboon monitors in areas where there has been some conflict or some raiding and things like that, so that we can train individuals to manage the troops to reduce the conflict in a sustainable fashion. And the Cape Town question is a very complicated question in terms of whether there are people who feel that the baboons are doomed in Cape Town, that they don't have a future. There are people who believe that we can continue to sustainably manage them. So that's a very difficult question to answer, and you know, depending on where we are in the situation and what the developments are in the city, that answer changes.
Jenny, we see the way that we manage, call them problem baboons at the moment, big males who are a little bit aggressive and pose a threat. The way we've managed them is to kind of kill them or shoot them and take them out. Tell us about the effect that has on the overall population. The way I see it, surely it must have a negative effect.
Absolutely. We are totally opposed to this idea of removing individual baboons who may be deemed to be problem animals or raiding animals. Certainly in the Cape Town situation, it is a very isolated population group, so we've already got a lack of genetic variety on the population. By removing the males, we're increasing that genetic threat, but also by removing the males, you create untold stress within the troop. So in some situations, the infanticide rate peaks, so the males are not there to safeguard their babies, they're not there to safeguard the females. So you see a high incidence of stress within the troop and definitely elevated numbers of infanticide within troops. So removing males is not a good solution. It does create stress, and the further complication is that there's going to be an impact on the genetic pool in Cape Town. The same scenario could be applied, I'm sure, to other areas around South Africa, because baboons are becoming increasingly isolated in groups around South Africa. So we are really opposed to this idea of just removing individuals, rather look at the entire problem and see how we can find a solution.
And I know you're running a campaign against this. How's this campaign going?
It's going very well. We are getting a lot of support from the public. We on Facebook and through social media, we've got a lot of support. And interestingly, 2 PhD thesis studies were completed in Cape Town, one at UCT and one at Stellenbosch, and both of them came up with the same conclusion. People do not want to kill baboons, and they do not want baboons killed as a solution to the problem. There's a very small percent, it's less than 10% of people who do opt for the killing option. So the vast majority of residents, Cape Townians, and people throughout South Africa hate baboons, but they certainly don't want them to be killed as part of the solution.